Hi, I'm Dr. Tiffany Shelton Mariel. I make videos on how to intentionally get things done so you can actually enjoy your dream life. And today I'm sharing my favorite things from April that actually helped me enjoy my dream life. Hopefully something in here can help you do the same. So let's jump right into my April favorites. So I'm going to start with things that are keeping me organized. I'm very much a person that loves organization. I consider myself to be an organized person. So anytime things start to get cluttered or ineffective or stress me out, I think about how can I organize this? Is there something I can get to make my life just a little bit easier? So the first thing that came up in April that I needed to get straightened out were my kids' art supplies. There were that little nagging thing in the back of my head that every time my kids wanted to go to do something with art, I have a now 3-year-old and a 4-year-old. I say it like that because my son just turned 3. Everything was just chaotic. I organized a little bit of the stuff that they had access to with some smaller containers, but I wanted to have a spot for the things that I kind of keep that they don't have constant access to by themselves because they are little toddlers, so that would make a mess, like their paint, the little glitter markers, things like that, glue. And the problem I was having is I couldn't find something that had like compartments. Like I had like little Tupperware, but then it just became everything dumped in there, or it wasn't utilizing the height. So I found something that could actually compartmentalize inside of the container. So I'll put it up on the screen here, which was helpful. I love the way everything came out and the way that I organized, and it just makes life so much easier. When my kids want to do some art, I can just like pop it out, use it, put everything away. It's nice, it's clean, and I'm not overstimulated. Speaking of not being overstimulated, my tech stuff kind of was organized because I had my camera bag with my camera gear, which I loved, which has made content creation so much easier. I can move to different parts of my house and create very easily, just pick up the bag. But the actual side pieces that weren't like lenses or cameras or mics, but like the cords and the batteries and the like portable lights and all the other extra stuff, the hardware drives, the SD cards. I had a smaller one that I really liked for a while, but I realized it wasn't big enough to fit like my hard drive in there. And so I had to I'm a mom, so I'm constantly moving around my house. I also work from home, so some days I don't feel like working in my office, so I have to like lug a lot of stuff around sometimes. So the more convenient it could be, the easier. Now everything is just together. It's seamless. I only have to grab 2 things if I need to create content, my camera bag and this little accessory bag, and I'm good. So let's move into things that are keeping me well. This first stress tea, I've talked about this tea before, but it's just one of my favorites that I keep coming back to. I found it really helpful in my gut health journey, and definitely wanted to give it its own spot in my first favorites video. This tea is something, especially like if you find yourself craving like coffee in the afternoon, but maybe it keeps you up, but you need just like a pick-me-up of like a warm drink in the afternoon when you're working. Try this tea. It can also calm you down, help you move into the evening nicely, and you don't get that like coffee crash or stay up all night. Another thing keeping me well is these mindful coloring books. So I want to share it with you guys, these mindful coloring books, which have been so nice. I'll have everything linked below, but you can see like I've been coloring at night. Well, this one is my new one, but how should I show this best? You can see there, it has what I love about it, it's not like some of these other coloring books that are kind of like gaudy, you would say, or, just a lot of busyness. It's minimalistic. It's like has a bohemian vibe. It has like some things that are just like shapes that you can get your color on. These beautiful women. So I'm working on my second one of these, and these are my favorite markers to use with them. I've tried a lot of different markers in my mindful coloring journey. These are some of my favorites. They have this skin tone collection one, which I love, and then I also got this. My kids have been digging in here. You can see some of them are missing. This blue and gray ones, which I thought were just beautiful, and then I'll show you again the skin tone ones. And they're nice because in each one you have the fat side, you have that fat side, and you also have point side, so you can really get in there and do what you like. These have definitely been keeping me well. If you're looking for something to stop the doom scrolling at the end of the night, give mindful coloring a try, and these are just beautiful colors and a beautiful coloring book. Another thing keeping me well, by now you probably know I am a Beyonce stan. I'm not part of the Beehive. Well, I guess I am part of the Beehive. I just like to think of myself as like one of the sane ones. Like I'm a fan, but I'm not cray. If that makes sense, you guys know what I'm talking about. So yes, Cowboy Carter is keeping me well. I love this album just so much in so many different ways. It is just amazing. It's so thoughtful. It's so layered with so many different pieces of meaning, and it just sounds good and it feels good. And I remember I got some pretty hard news about a family member last week and was really upset, and I just felt like having a cry cry. I didn't get a chance to process it the week at the time of finding it out, because why didn't I get, I was with my kids. I was in mommy mode. So once I finally got alone and could listen to this album by myself, I started at like the beginning, and especially like 16 Carriages, I had myself a good cry. But by the end, I was like, I was like, in a good mood. It just took me through an emotional journey. And, when I ended with Tyrant and, Honey, my favorite song on the album is Two Hands to Heaven. Two Hands to Heaven. Amazing. Followed by the Tyrant and the Honey. It's just like, chef's kiss. Album is definitely keeping me well. I also always like to mention in a lot of my vlogs, but I'll mention it here just to make sure it's heard, that's keeping me well, is my Aging One greens. Love this formula so well. It doesn't taste completely fruity, but you can tell you're getting those greens that you need. In these weeks that I've been sick and just needing a pick-me-up, it always seems to give me that little boost that I need, especially after not feeling well. I have little munchkins, so you're getting all your vitamins and your minerals and things like that. So if you don't have a good green power, definitely the hype is real on the AG1. I gotta just tell you, go ahead and try it out. It definitely helps me in so many ways. Another thing keeping me well as far as mindfulness is this bi-monthly massage that me and my husband are doing now. We have a monthly membership that we're sharing, so we take turns every other month getting a massage. Me and my husband used to go get like couples massage, not in the same room, but at the same time. So, which I think is more relaxing than like being in the room with your partner. I just want to relax. Okay. And so we used to do that every week before we had kids. Now we have so many other expenses. We have to kind of spread it out, but it's nice to get it back on the calendar, which we started doing this year. And that has just been like, just so nice. I really, really look forward to it. Okay. So I'm definitely a believer in look good, feel good. So I want to definitely share with you guys some beauty things that have been making me feel good, keeping me well. This first one is a little bit unconventional. It's this spray moisturizer. I'm a person who always has like dry skin on my body. Like, to be honest, I'm usually ashy like all the time. One of the reasons is because I'm long and it takes me a long time to moisturize my whole entire body. So when I saw this spray moisturizer, I thought, oh my God, it's perfect. And it is. It's so fast. It's great for those mornings that you don't have time to do the whole body care routine and body creams and then put your oil. Like, this is good, and it's ash be gone, and it's fast. It's fast. So I love that. Another thing I found at Trader Joe's is this lip mask, which I am doing like while I put this on while I'm doing my makeup. It smells so good. It has like a little pink color to it. You could even wear this like on the weekends, those days you're like just with your kiddos, but you want your lips to be popping and soft. That has been really nice. And then I added some things to my makeup tray for this month. So I like to have like out a makeup tray because I have a lot of makeup. You can call me like a makeup collector in a sense. And so I like to put out a tray of the things that I want to be intentional about using and that I can be easily grab and go like for work and stuff. And I want to share these concealers with you guys. They're Dior concealers. I wear the shade. So my one that looks like my skin is 5N, and then the one I use to highlight is 4.5N. These have been amazing in the sense that now, NARS concealer was always my girl. Like for years, I have been using NARS concealer, and I still will use NARS concealer like on more cash days. But as I've gotten older, the hyperpigmentation or the darkness under my eyes has gotten darker, and the NARS is just not covering it. I don't know if it's like my skin changed after having kids or what. Also, the undertones of the NARS weren't working for me anymore. They kept showing up a little bit more orange, and I needed more closer to a neutral color. I don't know if that's because it's winter here, and now I'm living in Colorado and actually like have a winter and actually have like a winter color, but the NARS shades weren't really working for me anymore. So I tried these Dior. I heard about these Dior high full coverage concealers, and they have been so nice. I'm still playing a lot with them, but so far I'm loving them. So in May I'll come back and tell you how I think about them over a longer term use of loving them. But if you need full coverage and you don't want to do like a lot of color correcting, if you want like something that's just gonna hit and you don't have to take a lot of layers of it and it lasts forever, try out these Dior concealers. Again, I'm 5N and 4.5. And then lastly, I switched my like kind of finishing powders that I use. I use the mineralized powder from MAC for years, but I wanted to try something else, so I gave this NARS one a try. So far I do really like it, just because I wanted something with a little bit more coverage again. When I'm ending my makeup routine, you can see how like like the color is there. It's still like kind of sheer, so it's not going to be overpowering the end of your makeup. I do a lot of creams, so this is really good to just finish with. So far I'm liking it. It's really smooth and fine powder, similar to the MAC that I was using, but it just gives you a little bit more oomph as a finishing powder. So this has been nice. I'm using the color Seafront. So I also wanted to share with you guys in April what's been keeping me creative. So I'm a big values person. In my goal planner, in my Mod Ambition planner at the beginning, it's really important to write out your values so that you're making sure your goals are actually moving you closer to what's most important to you. One of my values is being creative. I decided to do a whole new mood board for my YouTube channel just to solidify more my brand and how I want to show up in this space on YouTube. So I got to be really creative and make a new personal brand mood board for that. I put it on my phone, so I'm going to show you guys here. Hopefully you can see that. I'll pop a picture up on the screen. Let me take a screenshot so you can see that. But that was really fun, and I'm gonna enjoy being creative and leaning into reaching that mood, those vibes that I'm setting for my channel. I felt like I had set that really well for my store, Mod Ambition, and for just the vibes of the planner and the whole brand around Mod Ambition and the shop that I have. But I haven't taken the time in a while. I say the last time I did like a personal mood board for my own aesthetic was probably last year, and I believe keeping that up to date every year is helpful. So this is not like a vision board. It's a vision board in a sense, but it's more so like vibes of your brand. And it just helps you make decisions more quickly, decide how you want to be recognized and remembered. So that was fun and it kept me really creative. I mean, mood boards are just fun in general. And with that, I also started updating my website. So I updated the homepage of my website already. I need to update now the about page, but if you go to TiffanyShelton.com, you can see how I'm starting to implement some of the new brand changes, and also just aligning it more with what I'm doing now. My website before was all about when I was coaching manifestation to women, and so now I'm doing my planner. I have some other things in the works, but it's a little bit different. I offer different things now, so I need to shift my website to reflect what I actually offer. Next up is things that are keeping me productive. Okay, so one thing that is saving me time is now that my children are a little bit older, I'm not cooking them a second meal anymore. So every night before, I was cooking my kids like a separate meal. Like I would make me and my husband a meal, and then I would make them a meal that was more like kid friendly that I knew that they were going to eat. I decided I'm not doing that anymore in my meal plan. They can start eating. They're 3 and 4 what we're eating, and they've been doing great. So it's just a matter of me like offering it to them. They're eating mushrooms, they're eating their broccoli. They, you know, try certain things even when they don't like it, just because there's no other option. It's like, don't eat this, or there's nothing there. So that's been great, and they've been doing really great too. They've never been really hugely picky eaters anyway, so it's just saving me a lot of time. If you're a mom and you're making a separate meal, I would say start either slowly trying to cut back on doing that, or just stop doing it, and they will adjust, trust me. And then the other thing that I'm loving that's helping me be more productive is I have added Notion into my organization system. Now, a lot of you are going to say like, you are so late. Where have you been? But I have been resistant to trying it because there have been so many things on the market that I've tried when it comes to project management and productivity apps. So, you know, I was on Asana, I've been on Trello. Trello was the one probably that I used the most. I have done so many different types of like to-do list apps, and I've been trying to integrate Notion with my planning system, so with my planner, and having it, you know, as my project manager, as well as some other certain things that I'm using it for, and I have been loving it. I also have been using a few systems that I'm implementing with it, which I'm going to share with you guys pretty soon here. So yeah, I've really been liking it. It's been helping me get more organized. I will say at the beginning, it's more daunting to try to switch. I did take some time to do it on a week or two to learn the system, figure some things out, but now that I'm getting in there and getting used to it, I'm really, really liking it. Some of my favorite memories this month were definitely my son's birthday. He turned 3. He had a bluey birthday party. He had so much fun. I had family come in town. It was definitely one of the highlights of my April. I also want to share with you guys favorite mantras. So these are phrases or affirmations that have helped me get through the month. One that I've been using a lot that's been helpful is, how can I make this simple? How can I make this simple? It has been so useful to me, you guys. I can't even tell you. This has been one of my favorite mantras. I have a lot. Like I write them down on a whiteboard in my office. I'm now also tracking them, keeping up with them in Notion. But this is one of my favorite ones that every now and then I'll get one that is really impactful in multiple parts of my life. And this is one of those, especially being a recovering perfectionist. Sometimes I can get bogged down with trying to make things just perfect or just how I envision it's supposed to be, or in some sort of rigid way. And just that simple phrase of, how can I make it simple has really helped me get into action, to take action, meet resistance with action. How can we simplify this? How can I make this easy and even enjoyable of a process or whatever it is that I'm doing? And then lastly, I want to share with you guys my favorite book for this month. It is Building a Second Brain by Tiago Forte. And this book is really useful in so many different ways. So I also, I'll add two favorites. Getting Things Done, I read first. I read also the Para Method, which is actually like kind of a cliff notes to this book. And I liked it so much and was actually implementing it in Notion and in my planner and things like that. And so I was like, let me read the actual full one. It might have some nuggets that the Para Method book left out. So I would say those three books combined have been particularly useful in helping me get a lot of things done. So I had family in town in April. We had 2 snow days. We had 6 days with my kids being home. I had a lot of disruptions. That doesn't even include, some of the family stuff I had going on that were a little bit challenging. And so I still consider April to have been one of my most productive months, even with all that going on. And I can attribute that a lot to those 3 books. I would say number 1, Getting Things Done, and then this book as well, Building a Second Brain. So if you haven't read those books, you should definitely check it out. I would start with Getting Things Done and then move into this one. Or if you just want a kind of a cliff notes of both of them, you can read the Para Method. So those are my favorites for the month of April. If you want to know how I reset for the month of May, I will put that video up for you to watch next. Thank you so much for joining me, and cheers to planning, manifesting, and enjoying your dream life. Namaste.